Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me here. I love being here with so many amazing people, so many role models with longevity. So it's truly an honor to be a speaker here today. So my name is Vendela Lillistråle. I'm the founder of Business and Dreams, which is a career network for women. And I'm also the biggest nerd within health and longevity. I feel that this area is one of the most exciting ones we're having right now. The possibility to extend lifespan and of course also health span. So that's truly something I want to be involved in. So today I will talk about how to live in a health-focused and longevity-supporting way as an entrepreneur. That's something I've been now for 10 years, and I'm also coaching other women on how to start a company. So let's see if I can change slide. Is it with this one, right? Yeah, perfect, simple, yeah. So I want to start off by asking all of you a question, and I want you to raise your hands. I want you to raise your hand if you want to live to you're at least 80 years old. Raise your hand if you want to do that. I think I see every hand up in there. Perfect. Next one, raise your hand if you want to live to at least 100 years old. I see almost every hand up. Amazing. Next one, 120 years old. Linus is very eager there. Not a surprise. Love it. Okay, but we do have fewer hands up in the air. So we can conclude that more people want to live to at least 80 compared to 120. My next question for all of you is this. What if I told you that I just found your birth certificates and all of you are 120 years old? Would you just want to die on the spot then because you are 120? Obviously not. So the conclusion is that if we are healthy, if we have this quality of life that we're having right now, then we want to live another day. So that's why I'm really passionate about this topic. I heard this question actually from David Sinclair, who's a very prominent longevity researcher, and that's why I really understood the importance of longevity. All right, here's me. We're going back a few years. This is me when I was around 5 years old, and I'm going to share a little bit background about me so you understand the reason why I'm here and talk about this topic. So here again, 5 years old. This is me as a child. I was the happiest child when I was this age. I was just beaming with energy, full of life. People actually called me a solstråle, a sunbeam, because I was just always so happy. So basically, the happiest child. But the thing was that shortly after this, it kind of changed. And that was because I was a little bit on the heavier side compared to other kids. Maybe you can see it there, a little bit chubby. I didn't think about it back then, but when I became self-aware, then that became a really big insecurity for me. And you know, as a kid, these things blow up a lot, so this became my biggest focus. I remember seeing other girls' photos and videos of us, and I just felt so insecure that I was heavier than other girls in my class. And I remember during summers when it was so warm outside, I would just cover my eyes and legs because I didn't want to show them. So this became a really big thing for me. And in my early teens, I decided to read everything I could about diet and basically how to lose weight. That was my biggest wish at that age. And I actually succeeded. When I was about 12, 13 years old, I became what society would say a normal weight. I felt like I was like in line with other girls weight-wise, and I felt happy about that. But it kind of shifted to the other side where my focus became on just looking good and not about feeling energized. So here's a picture some years ago. You can see that I look, healthy, I look maybe sporty, but my focus here was to looking good and not feeling well from the inside out. And I remember that a few years ago, a friend of mine asked me a question that transformed my life. And that question was, Vendela, if you think about the decisions you make during a day, how many of these decisions are because to fill your own cup, to feel your most energized self, compared to how many of these decisions are to please others, to fit in? And I realized that I was living my life to actually just fit in and please others and to look good on the surface, so to speak. When I realized this, I changed my life. I thought about what would it be like to feel my best self, my most energized self, and I realized that that would be to feel like my 5-year-old self again, full of life and full of energy. So I started to change my lifestyle. I started weight training that really transformed my life. I started to eat in a longevity-based way, and I started to shift my mindset. Fast forward a few years, everything has shifted. I'm now a personal trainer and a nutritionist, and here's a picture of me at the gym flexing a little bit. And I'm sharing this picture because for me, this is just really how proud I am of going from basically, no muscles to actually feeling very strong. And I hope this can work as inspiration also, that you can really shift your lifestyle and feeling your best. And now I'm super passionate about sharing how you can actually feel good while you're also running a business, because that is something that many people can struggle with. And another highlight was when I was invited a few weeks ago to Gstaad in Switzerland at the Longevity Investors Conference, one of the most exclusive conferences in the world, where more than 100 top scientists, entrepreneurs, investors gather in 3 days to talk about longevity and the latest research there. So that was truly a big highlight, and I can tell that so many exciting things are truly happening in this field. So today, as I mentioned, I coach women on how to start businesses. I coach mainly on mindset, so business mindset, and we talk a lot about money mindset, how to charge what you're truly worth. So that's what I'm doing right now. But mindset is so big, it's very holistic, so we talk a lot about energy and feeling your best as well. So what I want to talk with you about today, and what I want to share really, is something that I call a longevity mindset. So what do I mean by that? Well, I just mentioned money mindset, for example. Having a strong money mindset enables you to charge what you are worth. A longevity mindset means that you're having a mindset so that you can live in the healthiest and happiest way for a long time. And I remember that I read a study a few years ago, and there were people who wanted to get fit. They want to get stronger. And they had different ways of actually getting stronger. The first group, they had to set a goal, like I will exercise like 3 times a week. The second group, they didn't have to set a goal, but they have to pick affirmations that were in line with their goal. So for example, I am a fit person, or I have a lot of muscles. And then they had to read them continuously through these weeks. And what's really interesting was that the group that only used affirmations had better results than the other group. So that the researchers concluded that what you tell yourself and your self-identity is so powerful to your results. So I immediately took action when I read this, and I wrote down the things I want to be true for myself. So I wrote down, we have some English speaker here, but in English, it's like, I have amazing health, I'm so healthy, my body's repairing itself very quickly, and I've read this every single day since 2022 in the summer. And this is what I want to share with you today, that what you tell yourself is so important. I oftentimes hear people say, oh, I just get more and more tired, or it's hard for me to build muscles, and similar things. And if you tell yourself things like that, it's very hard to get results that are contrary to that. So what you can do is to write down what you are currently telling about yourself, about your health, about longevity, and if needed, pick the opposite and start repeating that, because that will truly transform your life as it has done for me. And another study I want to share about longevity mindset and really the power of the mind is a study where researchers wanted to find out if you could get stronger just by thinking about exercise. So they divided people into 3 different groups. One group actually lifted weights. Second group, they only thought about lifting weights, so visualizing exercise. And third group was a control group. They did basically nothing. And at the end of the study, the first group actually lifted weights, they had increased their muscle strength, obviously, because they lifted weights, with 30%. The third group, the control group, 0%, obviously too. But the second group, who only visualized lifting weights, can you imagine how much they improved their muscle strength? I will tell you, it was 13.5%. So it's not as much as actually lifting weights, but it's still amazing that you can improve your muscle strength by visualizing exercise. So that is just another proof how powerful your mind is. So imagine comparing that with actual exercise. Another study I love, which is called the Florida effect, also shows the power of the mind. It showed that when you prime people with old words like wrinkles or retirement or Florida, which is a place famous for having a lot of retired people, then those people actually walked slower with less energy compared to other people. So again, it's crazy how much you can prime your brain and feel more energized if you choose so. And now you might be thinking, okay, Vendela, sounds great. You know, there's so much to do within mindset and longevity and taking care of your health, but I'm so busy, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't have time with it. Well, what I want you to start thinking yourself as is a very exclusive store. So here we have the Chanel store, it's in Paris, and you are this store. And you might wonder, why am I this store? And why you are this store is because if you think about an exclusive store, they have very strict opening and closing times. They're open at a certain time, and then they're closed, and then they're doing other things. For example, cleaning, planning the next day, whatever it can be. I see so many entrepreneurs who lack boundaries for themselves and their health. You need to start seeing yourself as an exclusive store. If someone would knock on this door in the middle of the night, they wouldn't rush to the store and open it for that person. You are the same. When you have your store, so to speak, open, you are serving your customers. But when your store is closed, you are taking care of yourself. You're doing your mindset practice. You're exercising. You're eating well. So that's how you should see yourself too, as a store with strict boundaries. And here's a picture of me celebrating my birthday a few weeks ago. And I'm just sharing it because I turned 33 a few weeks ago. And this was probably one of the happiest moments in my life because I felt so energized, so strong, surrounded with friends. I have a few people here or there. And now I'm actually looking forward to every single birthday moving forward. I have this mindset that I will live for so long with this energy that I have right now. So I'm just looking forward to coming birthdays. And to conclude, my goal with all this that I'm doing right now is to feel as my 5-year-old self, full of energy, full of vitality. And I invite all of you to think about your 5-year-old self. Think about how full of energy you probably were. Because that, for me, is the goal with health and longevity. It's not the absence of diseases. It's to feel like a child again, waking up in the morning, excited for the day. That is how we want to feel. And when we feel that way, we are the happiest, we are the healthiest, and we can make the greatest impact as entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for listening to my speech.
Thank you so much, Vendela. Do we have any questions in the audience? We have time for one. Yes.
What would be your best tip to start? You just need to get started and you have very long opening hours.
Yeah. Yes.
What would you do with those 5 minutes?
Great question. So I always start with a mindset. So when I did this presentation, I thought about, should I talk about exercise, nutrition, all that? But for me, I had all that knowledge before I started my transformation, and what I needed was a mindset shift. So I would truly start with a mindset. For me, reading my affirmations take 2 minutes per day. So I would really start with that, because when your identity shifts, you will actually start make time for yourself and your health. And if you're thinking about starting, for example, exercising, and you struggle a little bit with the routines, what worked for me was to have a reward every time I exercised. So every time I exercised, I bought, for example, a healthy protein shake, and then I had it after exercise. So I kind of prime my brain that exercise is actually good. So that is something I would use as a hack as well, to give yourself a healthy reward when you do that new habit too. Thank you for the question. Thank you so much.
Good inspiration.
Honored to be here.
Yeah, good inspiration. Thanks. So, friends,